Chef Andrew Black.
All right.
Thanks for coming in.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Anytime.
When did you decide you were going to be a chef?
Wow. As a youngest kid with my grandmother, I was always stuck in the kitchen with her. And all my brothers and everyone were way more intelligent and smarter than I am. So I grew up in an East Indian family home, and just being there cooking with my grandmother, I knew that was my calling. I knew it's what I wanted to do. So I would say at the age of 10, 11, I knew this was what I wanted to do. And I never looked back since. I've been doing this all my life. I call it a gift. Yeah.
Tell me your favorite dish to make.
God, there's so many. But if I was to narrow it down, I'd have to say some Indian puri filled with split peas, served with goat meat. Yeah. Just spicy, real Indian goat meat. Yeah, that would be the meal that, okay, if I'm going out, give this to me. Yeah.
How many restaurants do you have?
Currently, we have 3 restaurants right now. We're working on 2 more. Yeah.
So, I see as an entrepreneur, essentially I have an idea and a vision, and then I just hire a bunch of people to accomplish it.
Right.
As a chef, do you have an idea and a vision for an item on the menu, and then you hire a bunch of people that make those items, or is your hands touching every item?
I'm a little different. My hand touch every items, I would say, for the first year. And here's why. It's like a relationship. When we create something, I have to be there, feel it, touch it, smell it, taste it, and make sure that consistency runs. It's not that I don't trust the people we have there, but especially when you just hire that person to take over and run it, it's that relationship you go in where you have to know them and they have to know you. You got to know how they think, how they move, their thought process towards food. And in return, they have to know how I think also, because the brand is very important. And we never want to be outside the brand. I live and die by our brand, and it means everything to us. So it sometimes takes about a year before I can say, okay, let me know your thought process now. Let's see what is going on. It's because the kitchen, the food, it's always moving. It's not like you build a house and it's there. It's always moving. Food changes every day like fashion. And so you have to adjust, and the ones around you have to adjust also. So yeah, I'm a very hands-on person. Thought process, how it's going to work, detail person. That's just what I do.
And are you thinking yourself, obviously still as a chef, but also now as an entrepreneur as you run your own restaurants?
Right. That's a very good question, because currently right now we have 3 restaurants. One of them is a tasting menu, and I cook in this one every night it's open. But as time goes by, I have to realize that, listen, there are people that are there with me for over 2 years, take the journey with me. So it can't be just about me anymore. It's like I have to build an empire so the ones around me get to have a better lifestyle, get to have a piece of the cake, and grow even further with us. So to do that, I can't just live in the kitchen to be a chef anymore. I have to put on more of an entrepreneur hat to continue to build a company and to grow others around me. And so that's the move. A chef is always a chef. I'm still going to be up at 3, 4 in the morning talking about food to people all over the world, looking at food trend, the fashion, the taste, everything what's happening. I don't think that's going to change anytime soon. But an entrepreneur of growing the business and acquiring more restaurant, absolutely, that's the direction we have to go in, or I have to go in now. And more than that, also, one direction we're trying to go in is a lifestyle, so to speak. It's such a different world. What the kitchen used to be, or the food and beverage world used to be 10 years ago, it's not what it is today. You find that a generation now, even older generation, doesn't want to just slave away in the kitchen anymore. They want a lifestyle. They want to travel. They want a certain perks at work. And it's never really necessarily money. It's about how we treat them. What's the lifestyle they get? So yeah, there's a lot right now as a chef and as an entrepreneur where you might have to be shifted to last longer in the culinary world.
Yeah, you having a hard time finding employees?
We are. I think the whole world is. I mean, I talk to friends in Spain, London, New York, Oklahoma. Everybody's having the problem. Everyone. And, but that too shall pass. Yeah.
So you decide you want to be a chef at a young age because you're more skilled than all your siblings.
Yes, that's true.
And what's next after that? What's kind of your first job in a kitchen when you start to become I don't know how you become a chef. So talk me through this.
It's
and if you want to move that to
this one here.
Yeah, you can just because you just need to be speaking directly.
Okay, cool. So, I grew up in a little village, a poor village, so to speak. And at a young age, I kind of figured out I needed to leave. I kind of figured out there got to be an outside world.
Was there anybody else you knew that had left?
No. No, there wasn't anyone else I knew. But you know what? No, I know my cousin Norris used to leave early in the morning, like 4 o'clock. And he would just go to the next city. Which was like the Highgate or Port Mario, which was like a couple towns over. But I never, now that you asked that question, it all makes sense because I always wonder where he's going. But I never really knew. I knew he went to work, and I always wonder where he's going. But the older I got, I knew that when I looked around me, I just knew I had an idea at the time of what my life I wanted it to be. And the idea wasn't that I grow old in my village. The idea was like I become like discovering places, like a Christopher Columbus, so to speak. I was always driven to see places. I was always fascinated by the water, the people, everything. So one day, I said to my brother, I told my brother, I said, man, I think I'm going to leave. My brother is bigger than I am. He's like, where are you leaving to? You're not going anywhere. There's nowhere to go. And I said, yeah, I'm going to leave. I'm going to walk to Richmond. Richmond is like probably, I say about an hour walk. That's not that far. Yeah. And so I walked there and I got on the first bus. And I know in Richmond there are people who work on what they call the North Course, where the hotels and all that stuff is. And I got on the bus and took a ride, and I got down there. And the first stop they made was a hotel called Buscabel Beach Hotel. And I remember he said, hey, everyone for the hotel, get off now. And I got off right there. That time I was still a schoolboy, they call you a schoolboy back then. You still wear khaki pants and shirt and everything.
What age?
Oh man, this was in my 13, 14.
Okay.
Yeah. And so I walked into this hotel, and because you're a kid, they don't even realize you're there. And you just start working. And about a week after, everybody said, where did this kid come from? But I was working so hard, they had no choice but to keep me there. And so I started working, and I was cleaning 18 fridge a day in that hotel, juicing over 3,000 orange. It was a freshly squeezed hotel. And check this out, I didn't get paid. They didn't pay me for 2 years. So I lived in the changing room on a bench this hard, man. But then after
and would you go home and see your family?
No, I didn't even go. I was living my best life ever, man. Because guess what? The cooks back then in the kitchen, right? It's this excitement of seeing just everything you never knew exists in the world. I mean, I remember these cooks, the senior cooks, they'd pick me up at the middle of the night and they'd take me to these bars. They'd sit me in a little corner and make sure nobody touch or say anything to me. And it's 3 a.m. that they'll take me back to the hotel and we all work. It was, back then everyone drinks like a fish. You're seeing alcohol, you're seeing smokes, you've seen everything. You're like, oh my God. It's like, what kind of world is this? It's like to me, then it was like a world without laws. And everybody was just living their best life.
What country is this?
Jamaica. Yeah. Yeah. But I got to tell you, even you think of, even Bourdain tell you this, God bless his soul, but back in the days, you go in the kitchen, it was a different world, man. It was a different world. You could walk in and see somebody cooking and smoking at the same time way back then. To me, it's a different world now, but as a young person, when we think of going in the kitchen and you get in there, it was like the Wild West. And you were either part of it or you're not. And I just loved it.
So you just left your family.
I just loved it,
at
man.
13, 14.
Yeah, and work in this place. And you know what was a good thing about it? About a couple of years after, they finally started paying me. But then the government came up with a program to send like people from Jamaica to America to study. And I was part of their first experience, so to speak. So I studied in Columbus, Ohio, in a little town called,
Sorry to hear that.
No, listen, I had the best time ever. In a little town called Nelsonville, Ohio. I think they have 2 stoplights. And that's where I went to college and finished up at Ohio State. And, man, the rest is history. Have a great time. From there, I've had the opportunity to travel the world and work. And now I'm in Oklahoma City and just having a ball. So it's absolutely been a journey.
All right, so tell me how that works. Like you get your degree, but is it a culinary degree? Or?
Yeah, so it's a culinary degree back then and a hotel management degree. You know, you have that, and that's 17 years ago. Back then, those make sense to have to go get a job. In today's world, it still makes sense. However, you're looking for your experience. You're looking for places you've worked. That's a ticket right now.
Yeah, because like in entrepreneurship, we don't care at all about degrees.
Exactly.
And so I was curious, like, I would think that all it matters is that you're really good at making food, right? Like,
it's not just really good at making food. When you hire somebody, based on the program you're running, you want to set a caliber restaurant. They're coming from the caliber chef they have worked under, what they have done in their past. Anyone can make a good resume. Anyone. You go on your phone and you make a resume in seconds right now. So it is and it's not. It's about where you have worked, the work you've put in, who you have worked under, and stuff like that. That gets you to the next level right now. Yeah.
How does Salt Bae go from like a dude in Turkey to like...
Hey, man, found his niche. Found his niche. And that's what, some restaurants and chefs, you got to find your niche. I'm a firm believer that restaurant need to be built, but a restaurant need to have a place and time of need. Like the community need to be in the position where they need that restaurant, not necessarily want the restaurant. Because when the restaurant is needed and embraced by the community, then it has longevity. So it's every now and then you have a chef that finds their niche and kills it while others work to find their niche. And so the good thing about it, you can always work to find it. So, but no, he's killing it, man.
Have you found your niche?
I think I have. It took a while. And I think also, even though I've found my niche, we still in search of who we are. I don't think that journey ever ends. So at least for me, it never ends. I still wake up searching for the unknown, so to speak. I'm just a very curious person when it comes on to life, what tomorrow brings, food, culture. I'm very big on culture. Culture fascinates me. Because again, you show me your culture, I tell you who you are. Tell me who you am, and I can tell you about your culture. So those things fascinate me a lot. So I'm always a person, and I notice every year after year, I get deeper in just searching to find me, so to speak. Because even though our niche right now, we are I think when people come to the restaurant that I own, They know they're coming to a very elevated, high-level restaurant. They know it's not cheap, but they know they're going to get their money's worth. We're in that. We're kind of, if you were to put it in terms, I'd say we're kind of in that luxury term. We're a restaurant that is built well. Everything about it feels good, look good, smell good. And so people know when they're coming there what to expect. So that's kind of for a niche. We're not a fast food joint. Nothing against it. I eat fast food sometimes twice a week. Nothing against that. We're just in that kind of luxury niche, so to speak. And those restaurants make sense, And every state has them. You look at the French Laundry, you look at 11 Madison Park. Every state have these restaurants. So that's where we find that we're strong at. But for me personally, the journey never finished, where I'm always trying to find myself and just exploring what I don't know in the world. The world is so big and fascinated. There's so much going on. I could go on and on and on there, but I'm always curious.
How do you maintain a high level of standards without being a mega asshole?
You got to be a mega asshole at times. There's no way around it. There's some people, when they live and breathe and understand what you're trying to do, they get the standard. But ever so often, these people where you got to be that mega asshole to them, it's like, this is it. Either you're going to do this or you don't. And that's just a reality. As much as you might want to sit and say, no, that's bullshit. That's just a reality, because some people it's hard to get through to. I'm a very standard person, guy. The details. That's my biggest pet peeve. Details.
Do you freak out when a detail's wrong?
I used to, but I think understanding details come without knowing what details is, because when you give somebody or expect details from someone that you've showed them how it need to be done, you also got to allow yourself to know that they're going to make those mistakes. And once you allow yourself to know that's going to happen, then you know how to prepare yourself to help them not to make that mistakes again. So I go from freaking out about it to understanding it to more teach it. Now, I would say instead of me being more of an asshole about it, I'm more a pain in the ass about it, because I will ask you that one detailed question 15 times a day, because that's easy for me. I don't go nowhere. I can ask you 15 times, but you will get annoyed so much that you figure out, hey, he's not going to go nowhere, so get this right. So it's not necessarily let's be an asshole about it. It's be consistent about asking it till everybody start to singing on the same level.
Yeah. Because I'm one of those people that pays attention to everything.
Right.
And I'm somebody who deeply cares about how we service our clients.
Yeah.
So like if something goes wrong, I deeply am upset about it.
Right.
And if the smallest mistake is made that nobody notices, like we launched a website and I was like, I noticed that it didn't have like the copyright, 2021 on the bottom of it. And I was like, how the hell did this get launched? We launch 150 websites a year and this, and the reason I get so upset about it is because, so I own two companies, one's an agency, but with agency is like when I give you your logo or I give you your website or I give you your asset, that's the end of the project. Right. And then we manage it, but that is like completion date.
Right.
And that is the end goal of the company. The end goal of the company is to create these incredible websites and brands and stuff. So that's the end goal. At Rabbit, where our end goal is to place units that people use an app to rent a power brick from.
Right.
I don't care at all, because if something messes up, our goal is to be like the size of Uber. So when I look at what we're trying to do, mistakes don't matter. I'm like, it's nothing at what we're trying to do, because the end goal is just so astronomically crazy. And so I was thinking, I bet your end goal is similar to mine, is that the second that like they leave the restaurant, them being at the restaurant to leaving the restaurant is the whole goal.
Yeah, absolutely.
And if one thing's off, it ruins everything. Like my wife bit into a bacon wrapped, cheese covered shrimp, and they left the shell on.
Right.
And it's my favorite Mexican place, and she won't go there anymore because she was so grossed out from that one time biting into the shell. And it's like, wow, one little mistake.
Yeah, it's dangerous. It's the world we live in is really crazy because I feel like I'm sure there's other world and jobs out there that happen, but in the culinary world, in the chef world, the cook's world, or whatever we call it, it just seems like we're so at risk 24/7. And when I say that, I mean this. If you underperform for a second, it's, as you said, your wife won't go back. It's split second. You lose a customer, and that's losing money. And just imagine how much split second a day a restaurant has that goes bad. Yeah. And so what I say towards that is that I always say this. So in the kitchen world, no one wake up and come to work and said, I want to screw this place up today. It rarely exists. There might be a few bozos, but it rarely exists. We're such a, I think the pandemic also showed America that so much people that are employed in the cooking world, in the restaurant world, because you saw what happened. I mean, holy shit. It's, when you look around in the kitchen, and most places don't have insurance, right? And you have the guy beside you sick today, or the person that is your host, mom just died. And then you have the chef probably is a drunk yelling at you, and the dishwashers probably didn't show up, and the kitchen is hot as hell. And the guest will say, well, it's not my business. But it kind of is. Because where's empathy? It's kind of is. It's a two-way street. So after seeing all of that and listening to scenarios and see so many things, especially now we're at a time, restaurateurs are at a time where people literally just got to really understand that the shit is real what's going on with us in the kitchen. It's can't find people to work. I went to a restaurant the other day. At the door it said, be patient with us. We only have 2 cooks today. Like, that is happening. So yeah, it's serious, man. It's the world we live in, though. It's the world we live in. We wake up and we try so hard to get things right. We're, Danny Myers said this, we're likely the swans. We look like we're really doing good up top, but we're paddling out hell on at the bottom of the water, just trying to stay out. We are like this, man. Up here it looks like, yeah, we know what we're doing. We're holding on for dear life under. And it's true.
So you worked for some famous chefs before starting your own restaurant, right? Who were those? How those opportunities come about?
I've worked for Andres Kistler, for example. He's the executive chef at Peabody Hotel in Memphis, Tennessee. Just Austrian, just great guy. Wrote a book called Austrian Cuisine, I think. That opportunity came by when I just came to America back, and I was in Turks and Caicos, open Sanders' biggest resort for them. Was working there for a while, and I came back to America and sent out my resume, and he gave me a chance. He's actually, he's the first person to give me a big break in America, and we're so close, still close. But one of the best person I've worked for. Worked for Michel Roth at Ritz in Paris. Doesn't get bigger than that. Famous, good guy. Still there. I've had the opportunity to work for some really great people, and it's how it works is when you're putting in the work, it's always a recommendation. When you go into the next level and you put in the work, somebody might pick up the phone and say, hey, give this guy a chance. Hey, let this guy come here. Of course, now the world is a little different again also. You can pick up your phone and call some of these restaurants and say, hey, I'm coming into Stage, meaning I want to work for free for a month or 2, and who doesn't take free labor? So that opportunity is also there. But yeah, I've been blessed to work for some really good people.
Do you get paid well?
Oh, now?
Then.
Oh, then? I've never made bad money. I can knock on wood for that. I've often heard the story of chefs and cooks that said, I had to work where I didn't get paid well. That happened when I was just a kid trying to learn. I don't count that. But ever since I started getting paid, I've never had a bad paying job. Thank God. I've been blessed. I've never had a bad paying job.
What do the hours look like?
The hours. I couldn't tell a day last I count my hours at work, because I don't consider what I do a job. I really don't, and I'm not trying to sound cliche. It's just the truth. What I do is I get paid to practice my hobby. What my days look like, I try to wake up around 7:30 in the morning. I'll take my daughter to school. I try to check in at the restaurant, physically check in at the restaurant around 10, 11. And I'll go back until around 12, 1 o'clock in the morning. I leave from there. Maybe I go get a cigar. Maybe not. I head home and I take a shower, unwind a little, and I'm back in just curiosity with other chefs around the world. And we'll do that till 4 in the morning. And we just keep going.
Do chefs die young? Is this?
I mean, I tell you, we live a different life. We really do. It's, I think it's just to really do what we do, it takes a lot of dedication. I'm not saying other job doesn't, but even if you watch on Netflix, the Chef Table, it just shows the hours and the dedication you have to put in. I always say this. Every day I wake up, there's a 16-year-old kid out there that can kick my ass. Period. And if somebody out there don't believe that, then they're lying to themselves. There's always a 16-year-old kid out there somewhere in the world that is way better than I am. So I always have to put it in. Always got to grind it out. And that's a reality. Yeah.
Tell me about your first restaurant.
The first one I own?
Yeah.
The first restaurant we owned, me and my business partner, Rudy Corey, it was called Meatball House. And, man, we thought...
We served chicken.
Huh?
And it was a chicken shop.
No, it was a meatball house. And, the meatballs, everything about it was good. Problem is it was located on Campus Corner right in front of a university. Well, guess what? Those kids only spend $1 beer, $1 this. Can't make money that way. And it was one of the best thing I ever did, because it really helped me to understand what people meant. Yeah. I mean, we had a crew that would come and help no matter what. No matter how tough it was, no matter what's going on. I mean, we built some relationship from that restaurant. It's incredible. But, what it took, it was my first independent restaurant, which is different from a hotel. And so I really learning what it took to run and manage an independent restaurant where you're the dishwasher, the cook, the gardener, the plumber, the accountant, everything. It's a whole different world. It's a whole different world. And so that restaurant probably took half the years off me. But it was the best thing we ever did. It was the best thing we ever did, because it made me who I am today. And, they always hear about great entrepreneur talk about, oh, we fail here, but look, we built this. And I always said, shit, I hope that never happened. But then it happened, and I understand the journey.
Yeah.
And I understand what it takes. And that's why I even know I'm going to be more successful now, because I've been through it, And it's nothing to be ashamed about. It's something you got to embrace it, and you get up and you keep going, and just don't make those mistakes again. And even when you go through that, though, it still can happen again. When you build something, there's no guarantee anyone is going to come. There's no guarantee. Everything is a leap of faith, and that's what it is.
So you launched that restaurant. Mm-hmm. Is it still in existence?
No, we sold that restaurant, and now in Oklahoma City, we own 3 restaurants: the Gray Sweater, Black Walnut, and La Baguette. Yeah.
Black Walnut sounds legit.
So my name is Andrew Black, and it's crazy. So I went into
people's wallets. So you thought.
No, what happened? This restaurant, so they're all located under one roof, right? But they're separated with very unique door. When they're closed, you don't even know the rest of them is there. You're in your own space. Live, breathe, everything is in your own space. And so we were going to call Black Walnut a different name. And I remember we went into the branding agency and I'm throwing out names and they look at me. They're like, what's your name? I said, Andrew Black. Why are you guys asking my name? So they said, so your name is Andrew Black. Where's the restaurant located? I said, well, it's in 4th and Walnut. And it's like, that makes it Black Walnut. So that's how that one came about. And then the gray sweater. For us, gray has no allegiance. And so we have no allegiance to the food or the cocktail or anything in that room. And the sweater is really who we are, just embody the warmth of the service we offer. In that restaurant, we source our ingredients from around the world 7 days a week. It never ends. There's no menu. When you sit down, you don't get a menu. When you book your reservation, you don't get a menu.
So it's like Catbird Seed in Nashville?
Kind of. And
Who's that chef?
Pardon me?
Do you know who that chef is?
No, I don't know, but I'm still need to make my way to that restaurant. I've heard nothing but good things about it.
Yeah.
Nothing but good things. Yeah, they've won a lot of stuff.
So, people always like, oh, well, the wine pairing's with it. I'm like, well, that's kind of worthless for me.
They can do mocktail, right? But yeah, so that's what that is. And then, Black Walnut is this vibrant restaurant. It's expect the unexpected. It's more like in Chicago or New York. Cocktails are based in street cocktails from around the world. And then La Baguette is a French patisserie that has been in my business partner family now for 35 years. So we own one downtown also. So those are the 3 restaurants we own right now. And we're in the process of building 2 more restaurants.
And those, what are the concepts and names?
So the names are not released yet. They're not out yet. One of them is going to be in the First National. The First National is a historic building. There's only 5 of that building in America right now. So it's the creme of the creme. But we're going in and, I don't know if you've ever been in Tiffany, New York. This space that we're going to do is kind of based off the philosophy of Tiffany, New York. Only difference is filled with truffles and chocolate and macaroons and champagne and all kind of stuff, So that's what we're putting in there. And then the one that we're putting
this is a white girl heaven is what you're telling me.
Pretty much. It's going to be a lot of good stuff in that space, man. And then the other one we're putting it in Steel Yard, which is at the end of the hub in Oklahoma City called Bricktown. And this restaurant is just going to be ludicrous crazy because we open at 4 and close at 2 in the morning. It's not a bar. It's not a club. But it's a place where the lights are very low. The music are really good. Probably turn up a little more. The drink on the cocktail is something to be seen. I'll tell you this, there's a piano hanging from the ceiling. It's just going to be a fun deal. So, yeah, we're working on those now and excited about it and in the building process. So, yeah.
Yeah, how long does it take to go from idea to live?
It depends how motivated you are and the crew. It can go... If you have a steady crew, everybody teed up it can go 6 months in and out. Yeah.
Is that your plan or?
Well, my plan is to get both of them completely built before the year is out.
Okay.
And then we'll open one this year and probably early next year we'll open the other one. Because, again,
whenever the chocolate one opens.
Yeah, the chocolate one is going to open first. Oh, yeah, you should come up for this thing. That's going to open first.
I will. Seriously,
okay.
get your publicist to send me an invite.
All right, we will. Definitely. That's going to be a major one because the hotel is supposed to open the day we're open also, and there's going to be people from all over the globe for this one.
So I'll be signing autographs. Mark that down.
Yeah.
So I think we're a lot alike in the sense that we probably obsess over details.
It's all about the details, man.
And so tell me about I'm going to tell you the things I would obsess over.
Okay.
And you can tell me if you have, and then kind of the process.
Right.
Silverware and plates.
Okay. Have to. When it comes on to silverware and plates and wine, I should probably be the person that never purchased them, or I should be the one you never take to the party with expensive shit like that, because I'll spend it all. I will. I love good silverware, love good plateware. But, for me, it's like it has to be set in the same spot every day, man. Put it this way. In the gray sweater, when we place a glass down or we're setting the tables, there's a ruler. We're measuring where it's going. Everything right through. Every day. It's all about the minute details. So I'm obsessed. But
do you get into like the material of the silverware? And
yes.
The shapes of it?
Yes, absolutely. I don't like, and I've always been this for a while. I don't, when you get a chance, I don't know how much you look at the Gray Sweater website or so, but when you look at our plates and silverware, it's totally different. Different handle, different shape. They all tells a different story. And so I'm fascinated with that. We live in a world now where people just don't want the regular. It's like the weirder you are, the better it is. I love to choose conversational pieces. I'm a firm believer when two people are together, or if you live with a friend or whatever, if 3-4 years pass, you'll probably talk about every goddamn thing already. There's nothing left to talk about. Listeners, don't judge me on that. But here's the thing. So for me, when you come into my restaurant, I have to have elements of stuff that makes you can put your phone down and have the conversation going again. And that's how I build a restaurant. I build it with pieces in there that makes you want to talk. I like to hire people that are center of attraction, whether their hair is funky, whether they have something unique about them.
They're a meth addict.
Whatever, but they got to bring something to the table, whatever they are. So it's
former serial killer.
Yeah,
just interesting people, right?
Interesting people, right? As long as they're interested, right? Yeah. So yeah, it's those things that the detail, the silverware, the plates, the glass, everything has to make sense, the whole package.
I had a guy on the podcast who's a magician, like card guy.
Right.
And he wants to partner with a restaurant and teach all their waiters like sleight of hand tricks and make that like a part of the experience.
Yeah. Huh.
Just a fun idea that I thought
yeah.
of.
Yeah, I'd like to talk to that guy.
I'll make an intro.
Yeah, seriously. Because how cool would it be? How cool would it be like the first dish? You take a card, but the dish that comes out representing the card you took out, the deck.
Yeah.
That'd be badass. Come on now.
Well, his greater plan was, how he pitched it was, he wants essentially like a back room where he does magic shows, right? And I was like, yeah, nobody's going to fund that. As an entrepreneur, I just think through and then he's like, but how people get into it and how we sell tickets to it is all the waiters I've taught sleight of hand and some tricks, and they're doing it along, and if people want more, they go, and I'm like, okay, well, let's just scrap this and let's just leave it at this concept here. Is pretty awesome.
There's no bad concept, man. The world has shown us that.
You've been to Pinewood Social in Nashville?
No, I've never been to Nashville. I know.
Can we go there right now?
I know. I gotta get to Nashville. There's a couple places I know I have to get to. Nashville is one of them. I gotta also get to Louisiana. I've never been to Louisiana.
Okay. I didn't know you'd never been.
Yeah. Yeah.
You've been to Mexico City?
No.
A lot of great restaurants there.
Really? That's why when someone say, man, you're like best this at food or whatever, to me it doesn't make sense, because there's so much food out there that you can never know all of them. It's just so much. There's so much countries to travel. There's so much culture to dive into. Then there's so much food that arrives from the culture. It's unreal.
All right, take me through the process of, you have the concept, the general idea of the restaurant.
Right.
And it's time to put together the menu. of appetizers.
Right.
Are you making like 100 appetizers and then seeing which ones go? Like,
No.
what's that process?
Nah, I don't play in those games. This is either you get it or you don't. I don't, in this business, there's some people that's just born with it, or you train yourself hard enough where you know how to nail it. I can hear ingredients and almost tell what it's going to taste like. Seriously. So, and I don't write menu. Like the building will be building and some people write menu. I don't do that. I wait till I'll probably write a menu like, say, if the building is going to take 6 months to complete, I'll probably write the menu about 2 months out. And it will change again before opening day. Yeah. Because everything changed so much and so fast. So to write the menu 8 months out, no. It's...
Tell me about
it's too much. So
sourcing ingredients.
Pardon me?
Sorry, continue. You had a thought you were going on.
So when it comes on to how we're going to do a menu, it's not about coming up with 15 appetizers for me. Here's where it all get complicated, and here's where it start. It's based on the story I want to tell. Everything is about a story, and that's where it comes from. What story do I want to tell through each dishes? That's where it starts for me. Yeah. So it's not like, oh my God, we're going to need 15 appetizer. We're going to need 6 beef entree. No, it's about a story. And that's where we all started.
How do you source ingredients?
Ingredients are I did this book called Forging in Oklahoma. When I did this book, back then it was a bit harder. Now it's so easy because of your phone.
My favorite was before we started, you were on the phone. You were like, I'm going to need a lot of this fish. So if you can't give me a lot of this fish, I'll find somebody who can.
It does. It happened. It happened. And now with the phone, right, I can get beef or the Shadashima Japan and I'm tracking it come to me. With the FaceTime and the live feed and everything. So when we source things, again, say I'm changing a menu in Gray Sweater and I want to change the 10 course. Well, we source ingredients from around the world. So what is the story I want you to witness when you come in? I want you to taste a fish that's from a different country. So let me see which country I want to go into. Is it Brazil? Is it Japan? And that's where the question and everything start. So if it's Brazil, I'm diving into who I know, which fishmonger I know, and what I can get from there, and what is the quality and the whole 9 yard going to taste like. If I wanted to do something with lamb, I probably want to look at New Zealand because everybody is familiar with lamb in New Zealand. But show me some weird-ass country it might be, and that's what I want to bring to the table. Because chances are you've never tasted before. So it's the story behind the dishes. That's how we start the whole thing. Story, concept of ingredients. And when the ingredients come to us, we spend time questioning it, meaning you cook it, you taste it, you kind of figure out which way is this better cooked, where we're not ruining the integrity of the ingredients. And so that's a lot of process. And then once I get around a table with our ambassadors, we call our staff ambassadors, then shit, man, there's so much question goes on then. How does it match up? How does it pair up? Who's gonna eat this dish? How is it gonna work? So it's a process. It's a lot. Yeah. But that's how we source things, based on the story that we want to tell. If we said, well, we want to use pork, well, it can't just be any pork. We don't serve a lot of pork. We really don't. I think we've served pork once, but the pork was a pork that came out of Canada that just fed milk. Like it had to be the best pork. You see what I'm saying? We don't just No.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's for a week. We don't do that.
And then do you cook it all these different ways? Like, do you smoke it? Do you...
We don't cook it all these ways first. We look at it and we sometimes look at it and say, what is the unorthodox way do we want to do this? Because again, you're coming for that story. Smoke, roast, braise, all been done already. But how could we cook this pork where even though it's done already, it's still a unique way already? Those are the questions we ask. Those are the questions we ask. So, and it's crazy what we came up with. We have this dish on the menu. It's a turnip. And when we serve this dish, right, we don't tell you what it is. We drop it in front of you and said, we tell you, use your hand to eat it, and we walk off. And sometimes guests is like, well, they're rude. But we know what's going to happen. So we drop it in front of you and we said, eat it with your hands. And by the time they start eating with their and take the first bite, we give them a spoon to complete the dish. And then we go over and tell them what the dish is. And everybody was like, holy shit. We have had people say, I didn't know I like turnip. I love turnip now. So it's those questions. And that dish took us over 3 months to develop, to find the right, how we wanted to do it.
How do you finance all this?
That's hard.
So
that's hard.
Do you have a money guy that goes in with you on these restaurants, or do you just have a loan from the bank, or like how do you? Because like at the end of the day, it's like me as an entrepreneur and a creative sees this, but like I just want to know the money side of this, because that sounds expensive to import things from other countries, and
it is expensive. But I tell you what, you got to charge for it to begin with. You got to charge for it, and you got to be clever. You do it, and sometimes you got to ride on another chef shipment. It's like, hey, let's ride together. Let's Uber together.
Uber share
together. So there's a lot of ways to engineer it. There's a lot of ways that we go and do it, and now it's getting dangerous because food is just sky high, man. Sky high. Food is raising every day. The price goes up. So yeah.
So, but I'm talking about more the general finance around starting the restaurant.
Yeah.
So,
I used to, before I owned my restaurant, I used to dream of to become one of those people who, when you want to open a concept, there's a bunch of investors ready to say, hey, I'm here. And I learned real quick that you have to have a track record and they have to believe in you. And that's where it starts. Track record and believing in you. Your shit got to be good. It got to be, this is no, you look pretty, and no, that's not how it works. Thank God we're in that space where we have a track record and we have a great product. And because of that, now we have people that are willing to say, hey, I want to be a part of what you're doing, But at the same time, they got to get their returns. That's just how it is. Friendship doesn't work with returns. A return is a return. So, yeah, it's one of the biggest or the nervous thing when somebody said, I'm giving you this check with this large amount. Then you wake up every day knowing, holy shit, what do I do now? What do I do now? But listen, we're not the first to do it. The men who built America did it. The J.P. Morgan, the Rockefeller, all these guys did it. So we're not doing anything new. We just got to be, I'd say to anybody out there, just be true to yourself. Spend it like it's yours and even tight on it more,
Yeah, and do you often have a plan of a payback period? It's like, all right.
Yeah, we do. Absolutely. We do. There's no pro forma without a payback period. There's none. And, it's, there's no set, there's standards towards it, but it also comes down to you, your investors, relationship, and all that stuff. And then based on the project, some project takes, restaurant, you don't make shit much money in restaurant. You just don't. Unless you have a ton load of them and they're killing it 7 days a week. It takes time. It does take time. Yeah. It's a labor of love. Trust me. It's a labor of love. Many won't say that, but they know it's the truth.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. You know.
What's your highest margin?
Margins are higher in some things and low in some. You know, and on your appetizers, you tend to get a higher margin. Your big ticket items, the margin are even lower. You know, it's like wine. If you buy a $100 bottle of wine, our cost, it's hard to sell it for what it really need to be because who's going to pay for it? So you make less. But if you bought a cheaper bottle of wine, you can mark it up more because you're going to get more. And that's how, in the menu world was said your dog, your cat, who is dragging it down, who is moving it. And so you got it on our menu mix. It all depends. But yeah, your appetizers and some entree are always your high profit margin.
It feels like desserts are high margin. Would that be safe to say?
Yeah. Yeah, it's based on size and what it really is and the establishment again. Some dessert depends on the restaurant, can cost a fortune. Yeah. But definitely dessert is a good profit margin. People might think, well, it's just sugar and flour and butter or whatever.
That's what I think.
But those items are sky high right now.
Yeah.
They're sky high. So it's like, everything is sky high. Yeah.
Does it stay there, you think?
In terms of
do you think that's just inflation and those prices are there to stay?
I think they're there to stay for a long time. Yeah. The pandemic has taught us a lot. So I think those prices are going to be there for a long time. And there's a lot of things going to happen in the food world right now. I feel there's more of a community. It was always a community built where the food world is concerned, but now we're even bonding more because we're all going through this together. We're more empathy to each other where the culinary is concerned because we're all just going through it, And I also think that in restaurants now, there's a lot of stuff that we used to put up with where a customer will come in and be rude to a server. So I see that going to disappear because I feel like after everything we've gone through, and what the world is today, I feel like now restaurateurs going to ask those people leave. Like, we're humans too. Like, don't come in here and be rude and calling people out their name or anything like that. It's just unaccepted now. Back then, it was always the guest is right, the guest is right. Now it's a no bullshit attitude. We're not putting up with it. I feel like now we're going to see a lot of community restaurant are going to have their patron, instead of doing order up or doing order food from a second part, they're going to drive and come there and order the food, whether they want to come in or not, because they're going to be so supportive of what everybody went through. So I think there's a lot of changes going to happen. I think you're definitely going to see, in the years to come, you're going to see less meat on a plate and a lot more vegetables, so to speak, a lot more seafood. People want to be healthier. People are more conscious about what they're eating. Yes, there will always be a place for protein, but it's going to slowly disappear. About my word.
Man, that sounds like a nightmare to me. I hope this isn't true.
Well, buddy, I'm telling you, it's just we're discovering what keeps us going now. And I think we've known this.
Yeah,
years
big old
ago.
Steak and some potatoes. That's what keeps me going. That's what this body runs on.
And how do you sleep at night?
I don't. I got companies to run. I have a friend who's vegan, and he was saying, like, the only downside is I have to eat every 2 hours.
Yeah.
And I was like, yeah, I can eat like a pound steak and I'm good for a day. Like, I got things to do, okay? I can't eat I'm not a gorilla. I can't sit in a zoo and eat salad all day.
Meat is always going to be there. Protein is always going to be there.
Amen.
However, I just really see where a lot more education is what doing it. We have access to all this information now at your fingertip, just like that. And people are making those conscious decisions now. And that's what really changing everything for us. And again, I'm not saying it's going to go away totally. And I'm not saying it's going to happen tomorrow. But eventually, yeah.
What do you think of fake meat?
I'm not doing the fake meat thing.
Thank God.
I'm not there yet.
I would never talk to you again. I hate it.
I'm not into fake meat.
I hate when people are like, oh, we have blah, blah, blah. It's like, what are the... Just give me... my favorite is people say, I have vegan meatballs. No, meatballs are made with meat.
But again, it's things are changing.
No, I think it's a wheel. I think we're as far out on that wheel as possible. It starts to curve back.
Oh my God, that's a good one.
Because you can only go so. I mean, like you can only like. It's kind of like this isn't to get political, but I have some friends that are very liberal,
right?
And therefore, every new woke thing that happens, they're about it.
Right.
No research, no study, just about it. And a couple of them are big athletes, and so when the whole trans can play in women's sports,
Right.
they were like, "Oh no!" I'm like, they were kind of myths. Like, what do I do? Because
Right.
like, I don't want my women friends to get dominated in sports, but I also want to be inclusive. And I was like, and see, that's the problem. You just keep finding the edge. Like, eventually, it's got to loop. So the thing is, they found it. They got to loop it back. So hopefully that happens with meat. I mean, I'm cool with people doing whatever they want. It's a free country. I just hate when they call it meat. Okay, it's not. It's not
Fake meat.
Yeah, vegan meatballs. No, meatballs have meat in them.
And those places are doing well. Those restaurants are doing well. Yeah, they're doing well, man.
What'd you do during lockdown? You don't seem like a guy that likes to rest.
So here's what we did in the lockdown before they said we had to close our restaurant, right? Well, we didn't do curbside. What we did, we held on to our food, and we allowed the staff to come and take it every 2 weeks until it runs out. And then the staff, what we did, we kind of somewhat decided we wouldn't go party or anything. It's like we didn't say it, but it's kind of like we looked at each other and knew we weren't going to go out, if that makes sense. But instead, we came in every day and we just clean and train every day.
Wow.
Yeah, that's what we did.
For months?
For months we did that. I mean, yeah, there was some weeks we didn't, go in, but we spent a lot of our time doing that. And we stayed in touch with each other. Even the weeks where we didn't go and we're like, what are you doing?
Were you ever close to being like, hey, I live in the United States of America, not North Korea. I'm just going to open up. Or is that ever?
No. Gosh, if someone was to say what the pandemic did for me, it let me realize that, man, there's such a bigger universe out there that we weren't tapping into because we're so locked down, busy about going about everyday work. And we have also learned that we can live a lot happier and a lot less, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
You don't like that, right?
Well, I'm just surprised you weren't like eventually just upset that like somebody told you couldn't serve people food. Because I'm looking at me, and it's not just me. I feel like it's a normal reaction for you to like be like, all right, I have a right to earn a living for my family in ethical ways, and now you're taking that away from me.
Yes, but you know what? When you see the risk that is there, I knew so many people that got sick, so it was real. So it's like, is it really worth it? Listen, no one wanted to shut down. No one loved the fact that, everybody was losing money. But it is what it is right there. What are you going to do? You can take that energy and really use it to create new dishes till we open back up, because that's what we did, and look at it in a positive way of how do we still keep what we're doing together versus just going on the table and beat the shit out of yourself.
I got COVID twice. So
See,
I
there you go.
Did a poor job of quarantine.
Yeah, no shit. Yeah.
2-time survivor.
Well, thank God. Many didn't make it.
I know. I had 2 mentors pass away.
See, yeah, it's serious, man. It's a serious deal. So in the long run, yeah, I wasn't mad.
Yeah.
I was not mad because I knew it was serious. I knew people were passing away, and the last thing I'd want to happen is that the guy who working next to me, which is my work family, pass away because of something we didn't do. That would have, I don't know how I'd live with that. So yeah, I was okay with locking it down and regroup and everything. Plus, we were so damn busy before everything. We needed a little break. We did. We needed a little break, man. We were about to crash. Like, seriously. We were short-staffed. We were just going. Yeah. So, yeah.
And then I guess the PPP kind of made everything even.
It helped a little. It helped a little. Not by much, but it helps a little. You know. I'm not going to say it could have always been better, but I'm also grateful. We were able to maintain and keep I think about 80% of our staff. So that's good, you know. But yeah, it helped. Yeah. Yeah.
What does that 10 years look like for you?
10 years, you know. I would like to get up to about, there's a certain amount of restaurant in my head I want to get to. I won't reveal a number, but here's why I want to get to that number.
50.
No. No, you're trying to get the answer. I'm not giving you the answer. But I'll tell you what it needs to look like for me. We need to acquire X amount of number of restaurant. Once we get that, it has to acquire a certain amount of generating money. What that will do is help us to build a really, really good platform for ambassador staff and take care of them the way I see fit to take care of them. When that's happened, I would then like to dedicate my life to helping kids in need, because that's a holy grail for me. It's like giving back. So having these restaurants will have enough people and the right people to run them. The platform will be there. So then I get a chance to really give back to kids in need. There's so many kids in this country that are in need and need help. So that's my big thing that I want to do. Things I want to accomplish in the 10 years. And I also want to spend a lot of my time in Cuba on the beach. I want to do that and travel more, get lost in the jungle and do all kind of crazy stuff. And I'll still be creating and working. I just got to find time to do all those things still.
Are they all going to be luxury restaurants?
Probably. I love the finer things in life, even though I can't afford them. I do, so might as well.
You ever flown private before?
Is that a setup question?
No.
I've had the opportunity before.
Yeah, I can't ever do it. You do it one time and you just immediately feel disgusted.
Really?
For the next year. I mean, now I can fly Spirit Airlines and everything again. Like now I have no privilege.
I didn't feel disgusted, buddy.
But I mean, I flew private. Yeah. I've flown private once or twice and it was awesome. Yeah. And then even now it's really how quickly you can go. That's really what it is. It's like going through TSA and avoiding waiting in line. And my favorite is, I don't know why people do this, but it's like the second the plane lands and they can take off, the seatbelt sign goes off and everybody in the entire plane stands up. When the door's not even open to get off. I know. And I mean, I'm talking people in the 30th row are still standing up. And I'm like, guys, it's 20 minutes before it gets to you.
Yep.
So no, don't fly private. You'll get a little too, you'll get too snobbish when you walk through an airport now. That's awesome. What's that number?
No, we're not going to reveal a number because it changes. You know, as I said earlier on, first we wanted just to do those 3 restaurants and be contented with that. But the more the opportunity presents itself, I can't be selfish to say, well, I'm not going to do anymore, because if I don't, then how do I grow? Who took the journey with us? Because we've been blessed. We have some really, really, really unbelievable ambassadors. We've been really blessed. Just, there's nothing I can do now. If it wasn't for them, I wouldn't be able to do everything I do now. So we have the best.
Are we looking like this number right here?
It's a little much.
Which side of it? Are we going 52 or 25?
We won't say.
Yeah, it is all about the employees.
Yeah. What does the 10 years look like for you?
I guess hopefully running like a venture capital fund.
Yeah. Huh.
I love newness. So I'm not a same job for 30 years type of guy.
Right.
And that's why, like,
so you're not a lifer.
No, maybe. Biggest lessons you learned under each of these famous chefs that you've been under? Like couple, like
never cheat the product. Don't try to take shortcut with a product. It will ruin your reputation. And in this business, your reputation is all you got. It's your best friend. If you're good at it, be good at it. If you sucks at it, stay sucks at it. Like, that's your reputation, man. I've learned the biggest thing is that just stay true to yourself. And trust your gut. It took me a long time to know what it meant when they said trust your gut instinct. It took me, in fact, I just found out what that meant to me about probably a year ago.
Wow.
In all this time, I couldn't figure it out. But I noticed that the decisions I've made now is like ride or die. Here's how I really feel about this. And it always works. Trust your gut instinct.
How do you handle crazy people? And by that, I mean people that leave like a 1-star Google review.
Oh, that doesn't ruin me or bother me at all. No.
Do you laugh at any of them? Or are they pretty funny?
I mainly look at it and say dumbass. Because it's always a dumb stuff that they
let's
really.
Pull up some.
Yeah, let's pull one up.
All right, what's the gray?
You know what? You know what's funny? I've always said that I needed to have, or somebody need to create I don't know how you do it, but a platform that go in and just reply to everybody who posts something. Just really tell them how you feel.
You know what you could do? As a web guy, but essentially you could screenshot the review and then you could do a video response to it. And you could have like a section on your website that's like your response to reviews. I know that would hit on YouTube. Okay, what's one of your restaurants called?
All right, look up Gray Sweater.
Mostly 5-star reviews. So I gotta find a bad one. But
go on Open Table, you'll find some bad one. Let's see if you find a bad one on Open Table.
Here we go. Ryan Morgan. Don't trust somebody with 2 first names. Okay.
Go ahead. No, listen to me. My brand manager and my publicist would say, don't answer it. Don't ever answer this question.
I see. My thing is just answer to everything. Like,
no, I don't live in that world. People have their opinion. It's a free country.
So lockdown.
When I do read them, I'm fascinated with, oh, cool. Listen, if you go to see Bruce Springsteen perform and he didn't sing your favorite song, tough shit. He didn't tell you he's going to sing your favorite song. You paid to go see him.
All right, here we go. Ryan Morgan. Wanted to have a special dinner to celebrate our first Valentine's dinner as a married couple. He could have.
And I wonder why he didn't get in.
Well, first off, why do you use the special dinner to celebrate our first Valentine's dinner as to celebrate our first Valentine's Day is what he should have said. I hate when people don't even know how to write. Wanted to have a special dinner to celebrate our first Valentine's dinner as a married couple. Okay. Made the reservation the day before. Well, that was a mistake. I guarantee you were already booked out. Because the app let me. I was called at 2:11 p.m. for my 7:45 appointment. I already know it's going. I thought it was just to confirm the appointment, and since I was with patients and it would be rude to answer, I didn't. I called them back at 5 p.m. only to be told by a snooty mail host that because it was too late, implied it was my fault, we were stuck with the standard menu. Oh, so he still got in?
No, he didn't.
Oh. I'm sorry. If we were wanting to spend more money, I don't like being blamed. Oh, there's like a special Valentine's menu that's cheaper?
No, it was more expensive.
I'm so confused. We were stuck with the standard menu. I'm sorry. If we were wanting to spend more money, I don't like being blamed and having our amazing night taken away from us. We've been to Daniel and 11 Madison Park, and it's quite clear that any fine dining would aim for better customer service. All right. Well, that's Ryan. What are your thoughts on that one?
Ryan, I want to welcome you back to the restaurant wherever you are. I hope you're doing well. I'm so sorry you didn't get to really make it into gray sweater. But guess what? We'll make sure you get in next Valentine's Day. Just call us a couple weeks ahead.
Ooh, here's one from a week ago.
Okay.
Had a reservation for the bar at 10 p.m. 1 hour before close. That wasn't honored when we arrived. Yikes.
There's always two sides to a story. And I'm going to leave that one at that.
I think that's maybe the only last one. Oh, this is great. I love when people don't know how Google works. He wrote amazing, but then left a 2-star review. That's always my favorite. All right, what's another one?
All right, let's look up Black Walnut. That's funny. Yeah, man, that's a life. You wake up and you get slaughtered every day, and unfortunately half the people don't even know how to turn on a stove. But it's the world we live in, and we're grateful for them. And some of it, again, when there's a mistake, we don't wake up and say we want to make these mistakes. And we try our best to really says, hey, give us a chance to make it better.
All right, this is Amando Cades. Amando. Yeah. Why isn't just Amanda? I don't get it. Okay. Food was delicious, no doubt. One of the best mac and cheese I've ever had. Service wasn't there tonight. Overall, we were there for 2 hours. It just took forever. Definitely don't come with a party. We'll charge automatically gratuity while the service doesn't reflect it. Every restaurant, if you come with a party, charges automatic gratuity.
Exactly.
That's how it works.
Yeah.
Oh, 2 stars, by the way.
Yeah.
I mean, at one point, if the food was delicious and the best mac and cheese you ever had, you would think you would get 3.
2.5.
I don't know if you can give 2.5, but it does look super good. This mac and cheese and steak. Yeah, that's. Oh man, that looks awesome. How far away is it from here?
Just 3 hours.
Just 3 hours.
That's 3 hours.
Okay. I'll make a reservation Saturday night for or Saturday at lunch for Saturday evening.
Yeah,
and
let me know that works for you. Let me know that works for you. Yeah, it's crazy, man. The things. God, do you know that their review? That's some people's job. That is some people's job. That's all they do. I'm gonna review you.
I'm kind of that guy.
See.
But I pretty much only leave 5-star reviews.
I don't know.
All right. Here's another one. I just love when people start, it was awful. They were out of 3 entrees on a Saturday at 7 p.m. So much noise, you couldn't have a conversation. Food was cold when it came out, and the overall experience was not good. There are many great places to eat in OKC. At this isn't one of them.
Well, what can I say?
See, this is why you were okay with the shutdown. I think this is why you were okay. It's just people.
It's every day, man. And you know the funniest thing? That's every restaurant. Every restaurant.
I love
we
this.
go through there.
Rachel was my server, and she had absolutely horrible customer service, and the way that she spoke to her coworkers was very distasteful. I would recommend dining here and supporting this business, but not with her.
That's a hater right there. That's a hater. Whoever that is a hater.
I mean, she said my favorite is when people end. This is the most Karen move ever. Only a Karen does this. I hate when people say this. If I could give 0 stars, I would.
Yeah. We'll probably give you one too. As a diner.
Rachel was my server, and she had absolutely horrible customer service, and the way she spoke to her coworkers was very distasteful. Okay, I would not recommend dining here and supporting this business, and definitely would not recommend working here, seeing as they treat their employees horribly right in front of the customers. If this is how they talk to their employees in front of customers, I can't imagine how it is behind closed doors. If I could give it 0 stars, I would. All right, this girl looks like she's. This is great. This is great. This is a new trick. Reading their other reviews.
Yeah.
All right, so she left you 1 star. Are you ready for what she left?
What did she left?
What she's left 2 reviews. So you ready for her second review?
Oh, she left 2 reviews.
No, you 1 and then somebody else another.
Okay.
Her whole time ago, she left 2 reviews. So yours was a 1 star, and then the one she wrote 5 stars and wrote one of my favorite restaurants was a place called Pizza Peddlers.
There you go. There you go. That answers all.
Yeah.
That's why for us, it doesn't. Going after a guest that leaves a review, it's like you don't have to. If customer really dive through who else they review and what they're about, you can see right through it. And don't get me wrong, restaurant doesn't have a perfect night every night. There's always something happening. But no restaurant wake up and say, I want to be shitty today. That's just not how it works. It's not how it works. But yeah.
I love this. We waited for our food for over an hour before we finally just paid for our drinks and left. Very disappointing experience at this pretentious restaurant. The server is very nice, though.
Crazy people, man. It's in the time where you can't find people to work, it's hard to even, and that's one of the big things restaurateurs are talking about. You know, we had a chef post something the other day. The lady was sitting in the restaurant and started yelling across the room, just go hire more people. The chef looked at her and said, no shit, from where? Don't you see the problem we're having?
Yeah.
It's, you can't find people.
Well, here we have a thing where most restaurants, they won't open it up all, like it's open all the way, but they don't have enough servers. So there's like a wait list for you to sit at half the restaurant because they don't have enough waiters.
And if you're going, your food ain't gonna come to you on time right either because we just don't have enough people. Yeah. It's tough. And that will change I think people start going back in the workforce once this free check runs out. That should change, and it's going to be interesting to see who comes out to work and how desperate people are going to be for a job again. So it will evolve.
Cut for any famous people?
Pardon me?
How many famous people, like presidents and stuff? You know, anything crazy like that?
I've cooked for a lot of famous people.
Who's the most famous?
Let me see. I'd have to think about that. I think instead of saying who is the most famous is who I enjoyed cooking for. Because you can cook for famous people and they're like, yeah.
Yeah, I don't really care about, I guess. Yeah, I was just curious if there was some cool name.
Yeah, and I like, who is the coolest, Gosh, there's so much people out there. I'm trying to figure out who I'd say is the coolest. Al Green was a good one. I remember working at the Peabody Hotel, and to get to the banquet room, you got to go. To get to the banquet room, if you're somebody with a big name and you don't want the whole world seeing you before you approach the room, they take them through the kitchen. And he was on his way to the ballroom, and he stopped in the kitchen, and he just stayed in the kitchen and did like 3-4 songs. It was the craziest, like, fun thing, man. That was a good one. Yeah, that was good. A lot of. I've had the opportunity of cooking for some really cool people. A lot of them that appreciate it, leave a memory. Yeah.
Are you going to open restaurants outside of Oklahoma City?
One day. Yeah. One day. I think the sky's the limit, to be honest. You know, it's at some point, you know, we didn't have that thought process, but I think as we grow, the opportunity is there. So, yeah, but it has to be in cool cities, though. It can't be no boring city. It has to be in cool city. Yeah.
So not Tulsa. Tulsa's so boring.
It needs to be somewhere the beaches. It needs to be somewhere where there's water, lots of water.
That way you can fly there all the time.
There you go.
Tell me about your coffee.
So I grew up in coffee, and for the longest time in Jamaica, we used to cultivate coffee. And so I knew I wanted to really just find a coffee that kind of represent what I wanted, what I love to drink. Not too acid, not too robust, but just really smooth. And so this is Liquid Gold we came up with. And it's a blend of Papua New Guinea and Bolivian. So the two beans mixed together just give you that aroma and everything. You can smell it right there.
I don't drink coffee, so this is...
Yeah, but, you know...
This bag smells great, too. You put cologne on this? This thing's great. Where'd you get this bag?
Pick it up from the streets going out now. But, yeah, so it's, you know, it's a good blend.
Liquid Gold.
Yeah, it's a good blend. And so we'll be coming out with one also later down the road called Black Diamond. That is going to be more robust, more rich, and just really speak for itself more. So, yeah.
Does every bag have one real black diamond in it?
Never know. Just never know.
Black diamonds are pretty cheap. You could maybe grind it up. I don't know. I know you can eat gold. You should put a little. You should put every bag. It's got like
a little bit of gold. Just a little.
Yeah, I mean, just the time, like 14 karat, not good gold.
Not
just
good gold. Oh man,
like the kind you buy at Hobby Lobby. You know, that's like the put on food.
Right.
Tell me about your book.
So this book, we did this book when I got to Oklahoma City, and so it's been done for a while now. But when I got there, they also said to me that, oh, we don't cultivate anything in Oklahoma, and I'm like, no, that can't be true. And so I started going out to all the farms in OKC. And this book is not just about food. It tells you the stories of the farmers, what they cultivate, and how we, recipes that we make with their products. So it tells a lot about just Oklahoman farmers and foraging there.
Cool.
Very interested people, man. Very interested people.
What's the hardest thing to cook in your mind? Like, what took you the longest to get down?
Sauces. You have to, where sauce is concerned, take years to nail down what a sauce supposed to be. I'm not talking a gravy, it's stuff like what you eat, okay? I'm talking like good sauce. It takes years. Yeah. The techniques, the when to add, when to take away, when to stop, when not to reduce, when to add acid and everything. It takes time.
And then you got to document all this so you can teach others?
Most of it. Yeah, most of it. You know, you do it so much you remember it. But sometimes you'll forget, and I tell people this all the time, you'll forget sometime a recipe, but you won't forget what it need to taste like. Once you taste it there's like a little file cabinet up there that memory hold on to what it tastes like. And once you remember that taste, chances are most time you can get back close to it. But recipes are important.
Yeah, man. I just still think what a crazy business it is because you have to teach others to be able to do that.
And then no matter how much you give this person this recipe, if both of you make it side by side with the same thing, chances are it's at least a 70-meter different. Yeah, that's just so one little thing and it can be different. That's just how it is. So I say to people in the culinary world now, and I learned this from basketball, sometimes you got to take that shot and live with it. You got to just take that shot and live with it sometimes. You can't let it get to you where you want to do weird things or go hit the bottle. That's what we all used to do.
Yeah, are a lot of chefs alcoholics?
Oh, shit, yeah. Growing up in the kitchen is built in 3 things: sex, lies, and drugs. Yeah.
So it's like an unglamorous rock.
Not like
rock
that
star.
anymore. It was, Jesus, man. Kitchen world used to be like the rock star world. Yeah. Everybody knows that.
I didn't know that. Yeah.
I mean, that's just how it was. But we have grown. Now chefs are, for most of it, eating properly, trying to get their rest, working out. It's different.
I've heard that everybody should be a waiter one time to know how to talk to, just because waiters are treated terrible.
Oh,
that you should know, everybody should experience that
all
so
the
you know how to treat people.
Yeah,
do you agree with that?
Real. Yes. Yes.
See, I've never, I've worked for myself my entire life.
Oh, really? That's good.
Which is a strange thing. And so I'm often my thing is if I'm taken care of well at a restaurant, then I take care of the person well.
Right.
That almost never happens.
Yeah.
But I also don't have high expectations because I eat Chipotle, 3 days a week.
Yeah.
So I'm just kind of
You do?
Yeah, I'm a big Chipotle guy.
Really?
See, that's the thing. I'm probably the worst type of customer because I like things so simple.
Right.
So I feel like,
but I think once you experience it, if you experience either what you'd call a complication or whatever, I think once you experience it and you love it, then it's a whole different world. You at least give it a try.
what are you doing within the next couple of weeks? You really busy?
Yeah. Just trying to gear up now to, as we evolved and try to hire more people. Everybody's so short-staffed and people are coming out now. So our goal is to really staff up the place and training and a lot of team building meeting. We got to do a lot of that. I'm a big believer when you hire someone, you got to take their shoes off, wash their feet, dry it, powder it, give them a new shoes because they're coming to us with them. Then you got to teach them our philosophy. So it's a process. So in the next couple of weeks, I want to do ramp up and get into a lot of team building, a lot of training, analyze everything we're doing. Yeah.
So if you hire 30 people, let's say, how many make it all the way through training and are working there? Is there a high turnover rate of people that you hire that
There's
show
high
up?
turnover rate, absolutely. Especially now. Some people just fill out the application to say, yeah, we fill out the application, but they didn't call me. So send my unemployment check to me.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yikes. Yeah. Yeah.
That's the problem with lockdown.
Yeah. So, yeah, that's what's going on right there. But, I'm a firm believer that is going to pass. It's going to pass. We'll get back to normal sooner than later.
So if you had to do a fast food restaurant, and by fast food I mean fast casual. I mean
Okay.
There's a to-go option. I don't mean a drive-through.
Okay.
What would it be?
Where there's a window, you pick this up and you're out, right?
So you walk through a line to order, and then you sit down with your little buzzer, and
Okay.
then your food's ready, you go grab it, you can eat at a table, or you can ask for it to go, and it's packaged to go, and you can bounce.
Yeah. We kind of have one of that. Our Labaget in Deep Deuce is kind of that. You walk in, and there's order at the counter, and then you sit down and bring it to you. But let's say if I was to do another one or something like that, what would it be? You know what? So I'm from Jamaica, but I've never done a Jamaican restaurant. I've never done it. People always said to me, man, why don't you do a Jamaican restaurant? Truth be told, I grew up in an Indian family, so I grew up cooking a lot of Indian food. But I'm also very exposed to Jamaican cuisine food. So I think something like that and a grab and go would be cool. You know, something you just pull up out the window, get some jerk chicken, some beef patties, and some, rum punch and shit like that. I think that would be cool.
Yeah, because I asked that because I think that is the future. I think there's always a huge niche for luxury, right?
Right.
But I look at my generation seems to want. I'm a millennial, so I guess a Gen Z would be, I guess, the generation we're building for or whatever. But they seem to want higher quality, but still want it to be fast.
Right.
And so at one of those places, it's like you can, since you're ordering yourself, it's fast, but because it's not McDonald's, it's like higher quality.
Right.
And it's the best of both worlds. You can sit down and eat there, or you can bounce.
We do see a lot of trend in that, and people think because of the pandemic that absolutely that's going to be a big thing and maybe you're right. I think though that people who goes to dine and people who those people are always still going to go out because they go home and they want to go sit somewhere and have a nice bottle of wine. Great food, great conversation, meet up with friends. I think that's always going to be there also. So it's good. I think both worlds everything is going to come back in a bigger way, I think. And that's what a lot of my peers has been saying. And that's why we're getting killed right now, because people are coming out to eat. They've been locked up so long and they're coming out to eat, and we just don't have enough staff to take care of them. So, yeah. It's a big deal.
This is a segment of the show that doesn't exist, and I'm making up right now, called Rate My Ideas.
Okay. Okay.
I want to build an ice cream shop, and it's a 3-story building.
It's too big. It's too big. Why you want to do an ice cream shop in 3-story building? Okay, go ahead. I'll listen to it.
It's shaped like an ice cream cone, so it goes like small to big. So you walk in and you get in an elevator that takes you to the 3rd floor. So the only functional floor is the 3rd floor.
Okay.
And the 3rd floor is so the roof, is looks like ice cream, and that roof is like made out of glass. So from above you see an all black ice cream cone with a multicolor roof or whatever. And so you walk in, get on an elevator, go up, and then there you they're making the cones there and all the things. But I like these idea of these huge experience only. So when you drive by, you see a 3-story tall building that's a giant ice cream cone.
Okay. What do you do in the winter?
I mean, I eat ice cream during the winter.
Okay. Okay.
Serve hot chocolate, right?
There you go.
Coffee.
Okay.
Man, you got to go to Mexico City. You got to go to El Churro.
Really?
Or El Moro, it's called.
Oh.
It's this churro place. They've been around since the early 1900s. They have 10 locations in Mexico City, and they have an open window with a fryer that's the size of this table.
Oh wow!
And then they're making the churros. So they have a thing that they're making the churros in front of you,
right?
And they have
That's
churros
awesome.
ice cream sandwiches and all this other stuff.
God. Wow.
Yeah. You ever do an ice cream, or if you ever do a dessert? I guess you are doing a dessert one, your luxury dessert one, right?
Yeah, we do desserts and stuff.
That's the one I can't wait for.
Yeah, we do dessert. We do all those things and them and stuff. But something like that, a big city again that will support that. Yeah, I can see it. Yeah, but it has to be Dallas would be good.
Does that to be?
It's growing down here.
Does a restaurant have to be good, or does it just have to have the right people and chef and hype? Like I heard a lot of people tell me that like Salt Bae wasn't good, and it was just all about the idea that it's Salt Bae's restaurant.
But
can brand overpower everything else?
But okay, before I answer that, so 50 people go to eat. What makes you more qualified than me to decide if it's good or bad? It's a preference of taste.
Yeah.
You might not like it and I like it. So when I hear someone say, oh, well, the restaurant wasn't good or what, it's like, well, I don't know. I don't know how to take that because maybe you're accustomed to Pizza Hut and now you're eating a damn steak and all of a sudden it ain't good to you. You see what I'm saying? It's like...
How do you cook a steak?
It's very... I don't know how to look at that. But can brand overpower...
Can brand make things not matter as much? Like if people just love the brand, can make everything else kind of come second to that?
Yes, in today's world, absolutely.
And do you think a lot about that when you're designing the restaurant?
Yes, I have to. Listen... I think we have this conversation all the time. As chef, we always said our food is what matter. I hate to hand it. The food is what matter. The brand has to stand out. The food has to be good. Alcohol has to be great. Service has to be good, but the brand has to be on point. The branding has to be on point. If somebody out there is not living by their brand, I'm telling you, man, it's everything.
Do you think it stays that way?
It's not going anywhere anytime soon.
Yeah.
It's not. Not anytime soon.
Yeah, because I've always wondered, so I'm from Nashville, and there's a lot of places there that are just Instagram worthy. Like they exist to be Instagram worthy.
Right. But then you go and it's a...
Yeah, and
it's a Karen.
And I'm like, but then I realized that new people come into town. It's a tourist destination, so more people come into town every single week and visit the same place every time. So it's not like it doesn't need to be it needs to just be a one-time get the Instagram photo.
But just imagine if it was consistent and be better than that.
Yeah,
I feel like you need best of all the worlds. The story you're selling through Instagram. When you come in, it has to be that story. It got to be real. Can't be fake. That's when you just get a one-timer. It has to be real. So for us,
you got to go to Nashville, man. There's so many
for
awesome
us,
places.
we believe in brand and we believe in product has to match up the brand. The brand got to match the program. It's two-way. Live and breathe by the brand.
Do you ever do anything controversial?
Try not to. I keep it to myself. It's just my brand manager and the publicist will say that's just too much trouble. That's too much fire they got to put out. Do I have something to say? I always have something to say, but I choose and pick what because I just know what it can do.
Yeah, because I was going to ask what you do in your personal life, but it seems like your whole life is these restaurants.
Yeah, it's I love good scotch, so I love to. For me, when I'm not on the job, my happy time is just really just hanging out with good friends, or even by myself, smoking a really good cigar, drinking a good Johnny Walker Blue or so. And I love bicycle. I do a lot of street biking.
Really?
So I love bicycle. That, and I love to travel. I haven't been traveling in a lot at all. But again, I'm just this curious person curious about everything.
After the podcast, I got an electric bike you can check out.
Yeah?
You rode a Super 73 before?
No. Oh, shit. You got one?
Yeah.
Holy shit. No, I'm getting excited.
Yeah, let's end this podcast now.
Yeah. Even if you look at my If you look, I'll show you.
That's good now.
Yeah. If you look at my, pull this up. And mine, I write a specialized. It's an old one, but it's good. Let me see where it's at.
Oh, look at you flying a private jet.
That's what.
Yeah.
It's not the one you have, but that's a good one.
Well, mine's an electric bike, so
Yeah.
it's just different.
Yeah.
Do you put your logo on everything?
It's a brand. Yeah. When you said put my logo on everything, as in like anyone comes around?
No, like if you're wearing a shirt, does it have your logo on it? Are you wearing hats with your logo?
It depends. Like for Gray Sweater, you'll never see a hat or a T-shirt because it's such a exclusive brand. So you're never going to see that. You might see a Mont Blanc pen that says Gray Sweater.
But I meant like for you personally.
But for
when
me
you're walking around, are you walking around with your own brand? Oh, okay.
No. Mm-mm. No, in fact, the only thing I wear that has any of our brand on it, sometimes I'll rock my baseball hat that has a Black Walnut logo on it, but that's about it. Because
am I supposed to call you Chef Black or just Andrew Black? Like, what do you?
It don't matter.
Yeah,
it really doesn't matter. I'm not one of those people who gotta. No, it's not. It don't matter to me. I don't. When it comes onto the brand, I rather to see someone in the brand are talking about the brand versus me waving the flag of the brand. So I just don't.
Who's what are your thoughts on the dude with the frosted tips? Who's Guy Ferrari, is that his name? What are your thoughts on him?
He's good people. Seriously speaking, this guy's generally good people, salt of the earth. Does a lot for our community. Always want people to win. Whoever want to talk shit about this guy, they can talk all they want because this guy's killing it.
Now, who's not that way?
He's killing it.
Are like most chefs awesome like that?
Yeah.
That are famous?
Yeah.
Like, is Gordon Ramsay pretty dope?
I've never met him, but I know people have met him, and he's as dope as it gets.
Yeah.
Yeah. People just we're not just a bunch of assholes running around.
Yeah.
We're the kindest people on the face of this earth. We'll give the shirt off our back. People just assume that because we have to hold standards.
Yeah.
And we're no bullshitters.
Yeah, see, I've always seen that.
Yeah,
mainly because that's who I am as a person.
Yeah,
but it's like when I look at like Simon Cowell, for example, it's like he's just telling somebody not to waste their life trying to become something they're not going to be able to become, a singer.
Sometimes
and that's
right,
honestly a really good thing.
Yeah. Truth hurts. That's just a reality. We see that in the cooking world too. People watch TV, they come for a job and said, I want to be this great cook. And then 8 hours into it, they said, oh, my back hurt. Well, no shit. What do you think it was going to be? Something you sit on a couch and watch a 15-inch TV? No.
Yeah.
You got to work.
See, I think that was me. I got really into cooking. And then I was like, I like cooking for, no more than 4 people. Right. I think I was like, the idea of just cooking all day long, I was like, oh, that's miserable. What's fun to me is the eating part. Like, I got into cooking because I love to eat. Right. And then I realized, like, that just because I love to cook, that, like, my end goal was eating. My end goal wasn't, like, the cooking itself.
Yeah, it's just imagine you go there and there's always somebody, in your face, whether it's an expo, whether it's who. And there's a shitload of tickets in front of you, and one person is saying, hey, I want a steak medium. Next person said, hey, scallops coming up, and this coming up, and that coming up. And you have to concentrate not just on that one ticket, but for everybody else's ticket. So and then you go in the restaurant, there's somebody decide to bitch about it because they didn't get it on time or some shit. Yeah. Yeah. So they watch these
that's
TV
why you got to stick to desserts.
They
so
watch
much
these
easier.
TV show. And they come in and they said, yeah, I want to be that guy. And then they got to deal with someone like me and said, no, this throw it away, start over. This is a consistency we're looking for. Then reality check comes in and they're like, holy shit.
So when you're making a steak, take me through the whole process.
It depends on the steak. It depends. It depends on the steak and what you're trying to do with it. I mean, personally for me, I like my steak in hot skillet. I sear it on both sides. I take it off, salt and pepper. I don't salt and pepper it before it goes in because I don't want my pepper burnt on it. I don't want my salt. I like to do that after. So when I sear it off, put it in the oven, finish it, take it out. No, I don't do that. I don't do that. Butter, garlic, thyme, baste it a little, let it rest, salt and pepper, done. Yeah, it's not overcomplicated as some people.
So I learned the let it rest.
Yeah.
And that has been game-changing for me.
Yeah, because if you cut it right away, all that juiciness is just gone. You just waste your time. You got to let it rest. Let it sit in there. Yeah. But, yeah.
Do you have a favorite knife?
I've lost so much knife in my lifetime. So many people have stole so many knife from me. It's like, yeah, it's just give me a good knife. But I love the Sean. Sean knives are really good because they're light. And they keep a good blade on it. But I'm not I don't freak out as much over my knives anymore. It's not the knife that makes a chef, it's the chef that makes a knife. You could have the best knife, and if you don't know what to do with it, then you just paid for expensive knife and don't know what.
And I'm fine with it as long as it's got the wavy. Have you seen some of those Japanese ones that like
$800?
Yeah,
I bet you got a couple of those, huh?
No. Don't go to my kitchen, but I don't have it.
We're gonna search your kitchen right now.
I have one Sandrine knife, which is a special kind of metal.
See?
And you can ask my wife. I'm like obsessed. I talk about it all the time. This is the only thing I do with this. Every time somebody comes over, I slice a grape. I slice like thin slices of a grape to show that I can cut anything and how sharp it is. And all I do is I never actually use it. I just show off how sharp it is to everybody that comes to our house.
Oh, man. That's crazy.
All right. So what's the furthest you've ever cycled?
Let me see. From there to... I got in a 50-mile one day. It's not crazy good, but it's not crazy bad also. Yeah. It's okay. It's not something to really write home about, but yeah.
And you have a daughter, right?
Yeah.
And do you ride with her?
No. Oh, man, no. She's 7 years old. She just got her bike and she is just riding all by herself. I have a Gary Fisher in my garage, believe it or not. And that's like I have so many other bikes, but my Gary Fisher is a mountain bike, which I adore. That's my prized bike. So I got to get that fixed up where I can go riding with her. That's just, it's a mountain bike, but I can still ride on street and everything. But man, that was one of my first bike. Yeah.
Yeah. So I grew up being a big road cyclist guy.
Really?
Would do 100 miles, like 100 miles a day during the weekend, and was very into it. And then I got out of it, and then I got a mountain bike, and
mountain is tough.
I was like, "Hey, do you want to go mountain biking with me?" And I was like, "Sure." Thinking like I'm a beast on road. It's been 5 or 6 years since but I was like, obviously I can handle this.
Different.
So I've never been a big helmet guy. I mean, I wear one because everybody makes a big deal out of it. Right. But I'm just on a road bike, especially if you know where you're at. And I'm somebody who would hit 40 miles per hour on a bike, but I still just a helmet was just there. But I felt like I needed it on a mountain. So absolutely. I was unfamiliar with these trails, and we go down this big hill, and I see that there is essentially a ramp. And then I'm about to so I'm like, this is not, so I'm trying to hit my brake while I'm sliding because I can't get traction at my brake. Yeah. So I just launched, 6 feet over this ramp. And I was like, this is so, and then you land, and then immediately within 10 feet, there's a tree, and you make a sharp right. And I was like, oh, this is crazy.
Were you in the clip-ons?
I was not.
Oh, yeah. So my gear fishers are clip-on, and I knocked my shoulder out in Arkansas riding trail up there on a damn clip-on. And because I started off mountain biking first.
Oh, okay.
Yes. Then after my shoulder, that's when I started like, now I'm going on the street.
I don't think I could ever do clip-on a mountain bike because I like the freedom too much. Like clip-on road, I never even liked. I did it because obviously it's so much better. And when you fall,
so much better,
you're tucked in. But on a mountain bike, I want the freedom to be able to like hop off. Yeah, I don't know.
Yep. Yep. So that's my prize bike though. I love mountain bike. It takes you have to be really well concentrated. You have to concentrate a lot when you're doing mountain bike. It's not let me just let my mind go somewhere for a minute, because that 1 second or fraction of a second, you're running the tree or you're off the cliff. That's just how it is. Yeah. You got to be totally committed.
Nightmares.
You got to be totally committed, man.
Yeah, because that day I hit it pretty hard. I pretty much ran into a tree.
What's the best bike you'd said you've ridden?
I had an all carbon fiber track. Okay. And this is 10 years ago.
1 year, 10, okay.
So this is like right when carbon fiber was like a brand new thing. I've been on some specialized.
Is it fully carbon fiber, the entire thing?
It was, yeah. Or most of it. I mean, it weighed like nothing. Yeah. And then I have some friends that have some crazy bikes, but I haven't rode a bike in years. I mean, I have my Super 73. Right. I keep I'm waiting on Craigslist, just trying to find a good deal. You know, bike sales went crazy during the pandemic.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Actually, in February of 2019 or 2020, I almost bought a bike. And it was such a good deal. I mean, it was like a $3,000 bike for like $1,000 or maybe $800. And then the pandemic hit, and now no bikes are for sale anywhere.
Nope. What I want to get is one of those, what do you call it, Peloton?
Don't do it.
Really?
It just seems like, don't you want to be outside? Don't you want to smell fresh air?
Yeah, but what happens when it's cold, though, and snowing?
So this is you're in open restaurants in a warm city. I thought Oklahoma City never got really cold, but I guess I don't know.
No, Oklahoma get really.
Really?
Are you serious? Oklahoma get brutally cold.
All right, anyway, open a restaurant on Palm Beach, and then just be down there during the winter.
Yeah, we'll see. Palm Beach sounds good.
Isn't that the goal? Think about that. Restaurants all over the world, you just fly to them.
Yeah, one day. Yeah.
Thanks for coming on.
Absolutely. This was fun. You got to come to Oklahoma City.
I will.
You got to check it out, you know.
I'll make a reservation about an hour before.
Hour before. And let me know that works for you. Oh, man.
I will. I'll try to come there. I'm thinking this weekend. I can maybe try this weekend.
Just let us know. Okay. Gotta make that reservation.
I know.
Gotta make that reservation.
Yeah. What else? What should we see while we're there? What's there to do in Oklahoma City?
God, there's a lot of. What are you into? Is it arts? Do you love art? Do you love music?
So from Nashville, so music doesn't, anywhere else doesn't impress me.
You've seen all of that already, right?
Art, I'm always down to look at art. I love just like experiences and things, in the sense, I mean, an art show I consider a thing, but, so if there's like some cool, building or some cool.
Yeah, there's a lot of, I'll text you with some place to go. There's a lot of cool places to go. Have you ever been there?
No.
You're not.
I've driven through. I think.
Yeah, you're not gonna believe what you see. You're gonna be like, "Holy shit!"
I just know that I was in Tulsa, and I hated it there.
Different from Oklahoma, two different world. Yeah.
How big is Oklahoma City when the college isn't in session? Is it a lot smaller? Like, is that most of the town, or I mean, I just know nothing.
No, most of the town where college is concerned is like Norman.
Okay.
Norman and Stillwater, because those are where the big colleges are. And when college is not in session, nobody there.
Yeah.
And their college generates so much in those towns, yeah. But Oklahoma is really spread out. I forgot what it said. It's either the biggest city by land, something out there. But it's spread out big. But yeah. But there's a lot to do there. A lot. Downtown, there's a lot to do now. So yeah.
All right, I'll check it out.
All right. Gotta come by.
All right.